Go ahead.
What?
DeTocqueville.
You want that?
I want DeTocqueville.
Okay, I got the sex game in Poland.
I want that too. Oh, that's a tough choice.
So I'm watching book TV over the weekend because that's what I do for fun on C-SPAN 2.
You're crazy.
And they have authors on there and they're talking. And this guy reads this quote.
I don't cotton to book learning, so I certainly don't cotton to TV about book learning.
So this guy's got a new book out about de Tocqueville's famous book on democracy in America. He tours America in the early 1830s and then writes a book like 4 or 5 years later about it. And a lot of the things that he observed and understood about the character of the United States, even 180 years ago, are still very true.
Shockingly, mind-bogglingly true.
Right.
Yeah, he had a very, very clear eye and was just an outsider enough to really see us as we are. There's some things I've quibbled with him about through the years, but he doesn't answer my letters.
But one thing that he commented a lot was the idea of democracy just in general. He's one of the reasons he's in the United States, touring the United States, is because in France, things are completely coming apart. They're still trying to figure out, how to move from an aristocracy, king, whatever, to some sort of democracy, and people are getting killed for it.
You got your reign of terror, etc.
But so he thinks there's this problem with democracy, and he talks about how no king has ever had the gall or the power to control as much of people's lives as a government and democracy will eventually control, which I think is interesting. And I'll pick it up there.
Yes.
Above this race of people, he's talking about the American people, stands an immense and tutelary power which takes upon itself alone to secure their gratifications and to watch over their fate. That power is absolute, minute, regular, provident, and mild. It would be like the authority of a parent if, like that authority, its object was to prepare men for manhood, but it seeks, on the contrary, to keep them in perpetual childhood. It is well content that the people should rejoice, provided that they think of nothing but rejoicing. For their happiness, such a government willingly labors, but it chooses to be the sole agent and the only arbiter of that happiness. It provides for the security, foresees and supplies their necessities, facilitates their pleasures, manages their principal concerns, directs their industry, regulates the descent of property, and subdivides their inheritances, what remains, but to spare them all the care of thinking and all the trouble of living. Thus, it every day renders the exercise of the free agency of man less useful and less frequent. It circumscribes the will within a narrower range, and gradually robs a man of all the uses of himself. The principle of equality has prepared men for these things. It has predisposed men to endure them and oftentimes to look on them as benefits.
Right.
After having thus successfully taken each member of the community in its powerful grasp and fashioned them at will, the supreme power then extends its arm over the whole community. It covers the surface of the society with a network of small, complicated rules, minute and uniform, through which the most original minds and the most energetic characters cannot penetrate to rise above the crowd.
Oh, my gosh.
The will of man is not shattered, but softened, bent, and guided. Men are seldom forced by it to act, but they are constantly restrained from acting. Such a power does not destroy, but it prevents existence. It does not tyrannize, but it compresses, enervates, extinguishes, and stupefies a people, till each nation is reduced to nothing better than a flock of timid and industrious animals, of which the government is the shepherd. Tell me that is not unfreaking believably true.
Yeah. How beautifully put.
He saw that coming 180 years ago. As the power of the government to reach into all parts of our lives just continue to grow, and to where and the mild power of it, it's not like a king torturing us to do things.
Right.
It just makes it too difficult to do anything.
Right.
It reminded me of my story of boarding horses. It just takes away your energy to do anything. Just don't try to do anything. Don't try to rise above anything. Don't try to come up with any great ideas. Just
stay in the pen.
Just live.
Shut up.
Just live and shut up. Just be happy in the way that we allow you to be happy, and shut up.
Right. Boy, that's almost it's so heavy it saddens me.
It's incredible.
Remember from the campaign, in John McCain's world, you're on your own.
Was used as a
some
threat.
Sort of horror.
Was used as a threat.
Right, as if that's a betrayal and an awful, immoral way to go.
And he talks a lot about the weird problem with democracy in that because people can be equal, in all other societies, you were born into a certain station and you knew you were going to stay there.
Right.
So nobody even thought about equality.
Mm-hmm.
they're of the aristocracy and I'm working the fields and that's the way it is, or the other way around. You just didn't even think about it. But because we can get more equality, we get so focused on making everything perfectly equal that we allow the government to do all these things that reaches into every aspect of our life and then stupefies us and takes away any energy to do anything great.
We're a stupefied people.
It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's stunning. Sometimes I think there ought to be some sort of mass exodus. Form a new country. We need land. We need a land with a good climate.
I wonder if there's just
farmland.
no stopping it from a mature democracy ending up the way it ends up.
Yeah, it just could be as inevitable as the lifespan of an animal, including our own. It's like railing against being a little stiff at age 70.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, aging. Just being mad about aging.
Yeah, I don't know. But it seems like, it's within our will to change, but I don't know. You can stand there screaming at sheep all day long to quit being sheep, but the point of them being a sheep is that they're not going to respond to that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. You got to get them at some early stage of sheepitude before they're fully sheepified.
The sex game in Poland, you want to hear about that later?
I don't know. I'll do whatever the government tells me to do.
Stay here. You're listening to... You can call us anytime, by the way, 1-866-331-TALK. You're listening to the Armstrong and Getty Show. Are your high school kids, particularly your girls, playing a game called The Sun or the Star? It's a sex game.
The Sun or the Star?
It's going on in Poland. I don't know if it's going on in the United States. A bunch of girls are getting pregnant because of this game.
These are people who drown in their submarines with screen doors, of course.
That's right. Stay tuned. 9 o'clock news time. Armstrong and Getty.